So I got you all registered for your courses. Most of you signed up for the science semester courses. So in the next 2 weeks, there should be an email or a Slate message up where you can pick the specific courses you want, and I can help you with that once that comes out. I just recommend taking some time to read over the descriptions of those semester courses and just make sure you have like a top three that you would want to go for, because it's not, I mean, hopefully you'll get your first choice, whichever one you pick is your first choice, but I would be ready just in case that to have at least your top three that you'd be okay with taking once that happens. But again, we'll talk about that more once that comes out, because that'll be new to me as well. So all right, our goal today is to do a little do now intro just related to the Rube Goldberg project, introduce you to that, and then you'll have the remainder of the period to work on the quiz. So as usual, the tasks are posted on campus. You want to look for an assignment or an announcement that's titled Science2H tasks for U4L13. And you'll see the very first one, there's 3 links that you need to use to complete the do now. The first one is a little like just over a minute video of me with a little Rube Goldberg machine I made at my house with my daughter's toys. It kind of works, you'll see, but it's meant to be sort of a little bit of inspiration as to where I want to start and then build from. Um, the second link is a description of the Rube Goldberg project as I'm hoping it will happen. So I would like you to read over that. It's 3 pages. So that's our do now. I'll give you a good amount of time to do that. And then to make sure you're taking the key points from that, the last link, the third link, is a Google form. I call it a quiz, Rube Goldberg description quiz, but it's not actually a graded quiz. It's just a do now. So don't worry about it. There's no grade or anything. But just answer these questions based on your reading of the project description. This is kind of the key points, and we'll come back together to review it. So I'll give us about 9 minutes to work on that, and then we'll come together. I'll be here listening if you have questions or if something doesn't work, but otherwise, go for it. And I should say, hold off on going any further. Once you have the do now done, just stop. You'll have plenty of time to do the quiz once we've reviewed the Goldberg stuff. keep working on it, but just submit that when you're ready. So how are we feeling about Rube Goldberg? What'd you guys think of my my little machine video? Kind of silly. It was only my second attempt, so I would hopefully, if I had kept trying it, maybe it would have gotten it to actually work. But that was purely just with the items that were in the living room and some quick thinking. So it was actually pretty straightforward to set up and kind of fun. So let's just give you an idea of that's where I'm hoping to start, and then we'll sort of build up to something a little fancier by then. But just to take some of the key points from reading that description, let's see how you did on answering these questions. The first one I'm hoping is straightforward, that a Rube Goldberg machine is something that accomplishes a very simple task, and that's something you'll need to do. So it could be feeding a pet, pouring a glass of water, rocking a chair like what I did, whatever, switching on a light, but in a very complicated, weird way. We'll have to look up who Rube Goldberg was or how this all started. Very good. By week 16, which is technically next week, I would like you to have some sort of simple machine that you can film, kind of like what I did, but you'll have plenty of time to work on that. That might be something we'll do review on like Thursday, Friday, or Friday, Monday, however it works out. But then by week 21, so school is now officially going to end on June 2nd, which is going to be the day 8 of the last full cycle we'll do. That's when you should have a video of a more permanent machine. And so that was the difference between the two. Looks like most of you got it, that the simple machine is just something you can set up for fun, temporary, kind of play around with a few things. But we are hoping that you will build something that's a little more permanent, sort of on its own little wood base that has certain supports and is something that you can repeatedly make function, right? It's not like it works once and you're done. It's something you could reset and have it work again, reset, have it work again pretty consistently. Yes, I would like to avoid sharp objects and fire in particular. However, if you are feeling particularly passionate about one of those things, okay, I'll give you permission, but you're just going to need to make sure someone's with you or helping you, especially if you're working with fire or something like that. But having a candle burn a string is a very popular step. So I just want to see how people are feeling. It looks like most of you are feeling pretty confident about rolling an object down a ramp or something like that. That's great. Pouring a liquid and stacking objects, and yeah, that's easy, like cards or plastic cups. And that has a pretty good effect. Looks like almost nobody wants to do, I think this was the balloon pop, and balancing center of gravity. But again, I think the more you kind of play around with these different tools, the better of an idea to have. And yeah, we'll be sharing it through Flipgrid, just having a video. So the last thing I'll emphasize, and again, it was in the description, is that this isn't something that I'm expecting you to like go out to a store and buy a bunch of stuff for. I don't want you to risk your health if you don't want to go out and buy things. I'm not expecting that. If you don't want to spend money on this, I'm not expecting that. I will work with each of you on a case-by-case basis to see what is possible. I know that some of you, it's no problem. You've got space, you've got tools, you can go for it. Other people, you might not have any of that stuff, and we'll work something out, right? There's a way that we could get something going, and so we'll deal with that kind of a long-term case-by-case. So, all right, any questions on that long-term project that we will be working on?
Are we going to be working on it over the long break we have up here?
No. I mean, there's no homework for spring long weekend. You can think about it, but I'm not requiring any of that. Nope.
Okay.
So, but feel free to think about it, give it a try if you want. But no, any work you'll have adequate time once we resume class. Mm-hmm. All right. So before you start the quiz, were there any other questions, like from the homework or from chapter 5 or about ocean issue stuff? Anything you want to review before I let you go on that?
I just had a question. Do we have to memorize or know like the gravity equation and do stuff with that?
Nope. Again, this is open notes, completely open notes. So you can look up whatever you need to. And no, like for that, the gravity equation, there is one question just about the trend. So it's just important to understand the whole directly proportional, inversely proportional thing. But otherwise, if you need to do any math with the equation, I provide the equation, I provide the numbers. But that's extra credit. Was the math stuff was all extra credit.
Then yeah, I have a question about inversely and direct, like their definition.
So if you remember the equation, right, it's mass 1, mass 2 over distance, right? And so what does that tell us then? Is mass directly or inversely proportional to gravitational force? Anyone remember? Was mass directly proportional or inversely proportional?
Directly.
Directly proportional. So max, what that means is the larger the mass, what's true about the force, the gravitational force?
It's gonna be larger.
Larger,
Or
right? So
stronger.
larger mass, larger gravitational force, right? Which makes sense, right? We are, I am not gravitationally attracting you to me, but our planet Earth that we're on, which is enormous, has a huge amount of mass. That has a gravitational effect on us that we can notice. Distance then is inversely proportional. So what happens as the distance gets greater? What happens to gravitational force?
It goes down.
It gets weaker.
Or
That's what we
gets
mean by
weaker, yeah.
inversely proportional. Yep, that's the trick. Honestly, if you can take that away from the equation, that's the key thing to understand.
Okay.
Good questions. Any others? Alrighty. So the quiz you can see is on that tasks list. Some of you might have even already opened it. That's fine. But you just want to click on that Oceans Issues quiz. It'll take you to a Canvas quiz. I know I kept talking about a time limit. There's no time limit. I don't like having that clock ticking in the corner. I think that just stresses people out. So, hopefully you'll be done with it by the end of the period. If you need more time, you can continue after. It should be done by midnight tonight at the latest, but I'm hoping that it will not take that long for anybody. It's gone fine in all my previous classes. It's a combination of multiple choice and free response questions, 30 points total. And right at the end, there's an extra credit question right here that is math-based. And before that, there is a Flipgrid portion. But you might want to save this till the very end because when you click on the link to go to the Flipgrid, it's going to navigate away from the quiz. And it hasn't happened to anybody, but I'm worried that if you did that, you might lose your quiz. So make sure you've submitted, submit your quiz and then go to the Flipgrid. And the Flipgrid, you'll see the instructions are in the question. It's just a reflection on the activities we've been doing. So I'll be here listening. If anything comes up, if you have any questions or something doesn't seem to be working, if you can't see an image, let me know. But otherwise, you have the remainder of the period. Again, it's open notes. You can have your digital notebook open. You can have your paper notebook open. Look at whatever you want. That's fine. And you can turn your camera off. You can mute yourself, and just let me know if you have questions. And when you're done, there's nothing else that I'm planning on doing. So you can leave once you're done. There's no homework for the long weekend, other than just if you have missing work, you should work on that. But that's it. So all right, I'll be here listening. Go for it.